All right, so we are live and welcome everybody. Good evening and a warm welcome to our webinar, Digital Solutions Post-Pandemic, The Way Forward. And to discuss wonderful insights about how schools are going to be incorporating digital solutions post-pandemic, or rather I would say we're just around the corner and we're just going to be opening soon. So I would first take this moment to introduce our panelists who are the stalwarts in education. And I would start with the alphabetical order. So allow me to introduce Ms. Archana, who is the founder trustee of CP Goenka Group of Schools. Being a veteran in the industry, her understanding, creativity, and endeavors to bring positive wave of transformation in the education system has been quite fruitful. She believes that schools aren't about textbooks and teachers, but a world in itself. Under her leadership, CP Goenka Group of Schools have ranked among the top 10 schools of Mumbai as per Times School Survey. We welcome Ms. Archana for this webinar today evening, and we look forward to sharing some positive insights.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Next panelist is Ms. Pooja Madhu. She is the director of Sunbeam Schools Varanasi, an academic leader, social transformer. As a director, she has spearheaded the school towards positive, insightful, experiential, and techno-savvy education system. Welcome, Ms. Pooja. We look forward to hearing some positive insights from your end as well. And moving over to the next panelist. Thank you. Moving over to our next panelist, Mr. Ravi, an innovator and reformist in implementing business projects. Ravi Janra, an IIM Lucknow alumnus, has more than 2 decades of experience in leadership roles. He is currently the Deputy Director of Center for Management Development at IMA. Welcome, Mr. Ravi. And I hope that we will be able to hear some insights about the higher education and how our colleges and universities, shifting towards the trend of digitizing their entire education system.
Sure. Thanks, Rakhi. Thank you very much.
And then we have, of course, Shubhendu Jain, who is the CEO of Descopedia. And this webinar has been possible because of Descopedia. Shubhendu has over a decade of experience in private technology companies, ranging from advanced BFSL, e-commerce, and the edtech industry. And today we will be hearing him sharing some note-taking inputs on the digital solutions that Descopedia has to offer for schools, managements, and institutions alike. So welcome, Shubhendu, and thank you for powering this webinar, for helping us understand the way forward for schools, colleges, and institutions about how digitization is going to be happening and how is it that schools and universities are going to be coping post-pandemic. So,
sure. Thank you, Rakhi.
Thank you. So, we all know that digitization has already played a major role. And right since pandemic, the entire scenario of education has changed overnight. What we were actually doing in physical classrooms, we were forced to take our pedagogies online. And this brought us an insight and made us think that technology is something that we need to embrace as schools and institutions. And we are thankful to companies like Descopedia, who are now going to be sharing inputs about how they can actually help schools and institutes solve their problems with the help of all the tools and technicalities and support that we all are struggling with right now. To begin this session, I would invite my co-host, Ms. Sapna Sukhu, to take us forward with the first round of question and answers with our panelists and also help us understand how we are headed towards digitization. Over to you, Ms. Sapna.
Thank you so much, Rakhi, and thank you, Shubhendu, and all the other panelists for joining us. We are still waiting for Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, as we said, is not well, so he may be joining us soon. So it was a very interesting session, Shubhendu, when he decided to do this, and such interesting people are there to take this on. So Shubhendu, would you like to show a little bit about Descopedia first, or should we start with the session as you say?
As
That
you
clip.
say. I mean, if you, I don't know if Rocky is gonna play the video.
Yes. I'm going to be sharing a short video of what Descopedia solutions can offer schools and institutions, and how is it that they plan to play a role in digitization. Just allow me to share my screen.
I think there has been a huge change across industries, and I think there will be a continuous change required to minimize cost and increase efficiency. We at Descopedia focus to make learning and education easy for institutions by providing advanced technology and automation platforms. We know the world is changing at a rapid pace, and that is why we bring solutions on table which are easily adaptive without changing the current behavior of internal or external users. While technology has its own pace towards innovation, our expertise to integrate and solve any kind of IT problems is our key differentiator. I strongly believe that the education industry has a huge potential and is still finding ways to enable hybrid digital automation mechanisms. Our artificial intelligence automation platform can perform any task. We start to free up resources for any institution and can bring down the cost. Whether it's about admissions, enrollments, to courses, timetable, fees, and financial information. Attendance or any kind of internal or external questions can be answered by an intelligent and trainable bot. Desco performs only on instructions and algorithms. Descopedia team has been able to identify the need, and every single day has been a great journey for us as we interact with institutions coming forward. Our institutional management cloud ERP is designed to bring a paperless change with over 50 plus modules. We give our clients privilege to customize the modules as per their institutional needs. We know and understand how easy it becomes if online learning gets integrated with the entire cloud ERP software system. Therefore, we have enabled learning management system with our institutional management system. Here, institutions can take online classes, set up online exams, teachers can schedule syllabus and timetable, etc. While the management can track all the activities like admissions, courses, school fees, financial statements, inventory, revenue reports, and much more. Bottom line, we give the flexibility to every institution bringing change within their own ecosystem. While we also provide mobile apps for parents and students, which makes branding easy for institutions. We also have a cloud-based service desk model which runs 24/7 and after hours for institutions to take advantage of services like admission counselors, student and parent services, IT support, learning management system support, laptop or desktop support. Institutions can reduce the sales and service cost easily with the help of Descopedia Service Desk solution. Discoveria aims to become the first choice of any kind of institution which is looking to enable technology, digitization, automation, or any kind of hybrid AI platform. We look forward to speak to you and understand your institutional needs.
Thank you, Raki. So this
Yeah.
So okay, will it go now?
Yeah, just a moment.
So what we see is this technology is just seeped in so much that it shows that it's a town square of New York, which we are entering, and the global village of today is only technology. So if we do not know technology, we are just out of the system. So thank you for taking this technology platform way ahead. And I'm sure with this technology, maybe the schools will benefit a lot. So my first question, thank you, Pooja ji, for joining us. Having said whatever Raki has said about you, and I've worked with you, so you have chain of schools, and the preschool sector, which we see is we always see that the high school students are okay with it, but when we talk about preschools, so preschools, we see that the grade is at a greater risk. We see that the preschools are not even we are having a lot of debates whether it will go on and not to go on. And what sort of technology are we going to use? Are we going to use the blackboards, or which board will be using? What sort of toys will you be using now? Then uh, is it student friendly? What technology platform will preschool students be happy with or will be comfortable? What sort of books will you use? Is K-12 sector and your preschool sector will be matching, or are you just looking for solutions? And if you have found certain solutions, then what do you recommend? How are we redirecting the resources of K-12? Oh, that's the kind of digitization world we have entered after post-pandemic since March. So, what do you see the difference when we were there and now, from then to now? What's your journey like, and what do you see as preschool sector will be doing with the digital world?
Okay. Thank you so much, Sapna ji and Raki. First of all, we are happy to see you people are so enthusiastic. You want to give platform to students, teachers, and management to know many more things as the pandemic has come. So a lot of problems people are facing. Initially, people were not aware which way each and every class has to go on. Gradually, people they learn many things, and this virtual platform is everything now, whether this pandemic would be there or it would go. But definitely, this online classes would go on forever, what I feel. But what question you asked is you have just asked about the pre-primary classes, where the foundation of learning will cover the pre-K to grade 2, spending out over 5 years of studies, 3 plus 2 plus 5. The NEP 2020, which would be implemented from 2022 to 23, should well be tested out in 2021-22, and the pedagogy comprising flexible, multi-level activity, discovery, and play-based learning of the alphabet, numeracy, languages, colors, shapes, indoor and outdoor play, puzzles, logical thinking, problem solving, visual art, music, and kinesthetic movements. One of the major consequences of our response to the COVID-19 pandemic has been a description to traditional classroom learning and instructions. And yet, in many ways, the move to remote learning has highlighted what is essential now during this time. As per me, the transition was not easy. But if we examine what we are teaching and how we are teaching it, rather than when and where we are teaching, that matters. The pandemic has revealed possibilities we had not considered before. We need to embrace new ways of teaching. We need to stop wishing we were back in a traditional classroom and focus our energy on more powerful learning possibilities and teaching strategies that are the more in front of us. As we know, big classrooms are going to be a big problem for all the schools. If the large number would be there, including this age group, it's difficult for teachers to handle everyone at a time. And we know students cannot be on a screen for a long hours of this tender age children, where their eyesight is also having a problem. Parents, they are more worried about their child's health. They are more worried about their eyesight. They are more worried about how to keep them in front of screen and how to educate them. So we have planned certain ideas, and I think it can be useful for many, many schools. Schools can undertake following measures to support families and younger children as per us. So one of the ways is their bubble front teaching. Club in this bubble front teaching, club the class into bubbles or students group of 6 to 8 students. Each bubble can be given an interesting name to be identified with, could be based on colors, could be based on their favorite cartoon characters, or based on flowers or on the planets. This can help teachers to attend to students of a particular group, paying individual attention to each separately. As we know, it's very difficult to handle big classroom. So this methodology is equally applicable in both the online and offline mode of delivery. Bubble teaching focuses on peer learning, social capacity, sensitivity, good behavior, and ethics, courtesy, teamwork, and cooperation. Peer learning will also enhance speaking and learning skill through this.
Yeah,
Due
so
to this bubble, yes.
see, you're talking
So
about
what
bubble
I
teaching.
feel, yes,
See, we are talking about bubble teaching. You're talking about the new methods, which is the traditional classroom, and you
yes.
were using. What about the edtech methods, like how technology has seeped into it after post-pandemic? So, do you want to highlight something like which, because traditional methods are suddenly interwoven with blended concepts. So, what sort of technology are we thinking will be the way for education
What
now?
I feel, because in different technologies, because in this level, the children, they have to learn their courses. They have to learn whatever is just designed for them. So curriculum, how we are going to transfer to them, that's a big challenge for the teachers, because they, as I said in the beginning, they cannot they cannot sit in front of a screen for long hours. So it's very
Yeah.
important how to bring them here. So we have to make our classroom, online classroom, very interesting. So here we have,
So,
what I feel, if we are just dividing them this classroom, what I was sharing just now, this bubble time, if we will do, so we can connect, teacher and student connection would be one-to-one. We know parents, they sit along with the child. They sit next to the child, then only child can concentrate. Even if for 1 hour, if he is just
yeah.
giving them, so they can concentrate. So if during this bubble time, if we can divide our class so into small groups, so teacher can be having a better connectivity. They'll be having a better connection with the student as well as with the parents. So their ideas, parents' ideas also school can take, and they can help them. What I
Okay.
feel, if yes, if the school is going to concentrate like a small group, if we are giving specific hours are there, we can do reading sessions, we can do
Yeah.
circle time activities along with them, and we can do many poem recitation. Even when we are giving the poem recitation, we can check also when one-to-one
Okay.
connectivity would be there, so we can check each and everything with the child. So bond of teacher and the student would be more strong. And during this time, I feel teachers, they can take the feedback from the parents. They are the best judge, so they can guide us better which way their child is taking up. And when due to this what I feel now connectivity is more easy through virtual platform, so parents, instead of coming to the school, parents, they can meet the teacher online through Zoom classroom, and through Zoom meeting, we can connect with them. We can take their ideas. We can give them suggestion. How can take up rest of the hours when the child is not with the teacher in front of the screen, how the parents can help them at home, which way
Okay.
they can
Thank you.
utilize their rest of the hours, I feel. And
Yeah,
as
very
like you have
true.
mentioned
That
about the books. So now the digital books, what I feel digital books are also available now. Whatever the publishers, they have given their course for, they have given digital books also now. So everything is available with the parent. They can guide them at home if they are getting the book set or they are not getting the book set. So in this way, we can
Thank you
reduce the
so much.
burden also of the child, the back burden, I feel. So I think if we are
Thank
going to
you.
implement
Thank you.
this way, so it would be a great for everyone.
So you said bubble classrooms, and you said that parent timing will be intervened. Parents will have to spend time. So the technological solutions, you are still discovering what exactly you're going to do. We are just going to hear more from Shubhendu around that. Coming from preschool to now the
Yes.
higher school agenda, which Ravi Jangra is heading. So it's a totally like from pre, we are not coming to middle school, we are going to the higher school. And what about higher school, like future of high-tech education? Because when we do with the new education policy, even higher education has taken many steps. There are many changes which we are seeing are going to implement from 2022 to from 2021 onwards. So what are the key trends? What are those challenges the higher education is going to face? What are those tech developments which you are going to implement in your system? And how higher education is going to shape up in the coming years, though we have been doing and talking to some universities and they have already discussed a lot, but each university, each maybe the setup has got some different norms. So what do you suggest, Raviji?
Thanks, Amna. It's a question which is very close to my heart also, frankly speaking, because based on my 2 decades of experience, when we talk about higher education, we cannot categorize in one part, frankly speaking. Like, for example, when we talk about school education or K-12 or KG, pre-nursery classes, then you talk about basic. I'll not say basic, but very mandatory part of those, like aesthetic skills, like motor skills. There are certain part, and I feel very different for the schools because they are doing a lot of hard works to achieve those things. But certain things are not in their hand also, like they cannot gather in group and physically group activities and all like this. But when it comes to the higher education, we need to understand the aspect of the higher education. Like we have, if I'll categorize more in like uh, group of three segments. Like one is management skills, one is soft skills, are more theory based, and third is practical based. Like for example, engineering, there are a lot of software they are used to do a lot of soft coding part and all these things. Like the mechanical engineering is basically totally based on a hardware part, so where they are going to learn on those kind of things. Yes, they can do like a lot of designing part on the school, like Autodesk, PTCs. There are a lot of software which is available for them. Like electrical engineer, they need a lot of hardware. VLSI, they need a lot of software solution where they can do the implementation and all these things. So those are the little challenges. Yes, soft part they can do on the part learning, but what about the implementation on those things? So that will be the major challenge for them. Same thing when it comes to the like for example higher education or something like psychology or I will say economics or mathematics. Yes, they can do a lot of calculation, a lot of learning, and based on the solution provided by the university, they can interact with across globe. Now that is the best part about for those people. But when it comes to the like management is not science. A plus B is equal to not C in management. It can be anything. Maybe my decision is wrong decision, but it became a super fantastic decision for me because of the wrong decision of my competitor. So these kind of experience is not there. So for me, the challenge is getting a experiential learning for the student through digital format. It is very much challenging. It's not only about the student, it's a challenge for me, for the management also, for the faculties also, and for the students. So I always intend to make an ecosystem, which I am already working for management education, where we are developing an ecosystem. We already developed, but there are a lot of enhancement is required. The ecosystem where we can integrate the management part, where we management means being as a part of the management body of the institution, it is not only about the education which we are delivering, or it is not only about the subject we are covering. There are a lot of other things which you need to cover up on those things. Then being as a faculty, how you are making it interesting for the student, because student is in a young age, when we are talking higher education, it's the most I'll say curious age for them. They have a lot of diversion these days, like they have a lot of distractions these days, like mobile games, OTT channels, and a lot of other things. So how to work out on those things? So for us, it's a challenge. Yes, there are a lot of enhancement is done. The digital post-COVID, there is a kind of, I will say, it is a blessing for us also, for where we can go for these kind of international thought process, or maybe we can talk to the overseas universities for these kind of programs. So that is there. And ecosystem is very much required, an ecosystem where we talk about a lot of how to go on the deeper on those kind of things, because leadership development, for example, it cannot be done digitally, because unless until you are not talking to the people, not you are not able to. Because right now, for example, if we are sitting on this forum and we start fighting, I'm just giving example, I know everybody is too much educated and mature, we will not fight like in a news channel, but I can switch off my camera, or I can log out just to walk out from this session. But what about the physical problem which I'm facing in the market? How I'm going to interact with the group of people? How I'm going to convince on that? So the leadership aspect, the team building aspects, these kind of things, these are the some soft qualities, soft USPs is little bit challenging to develop, and that's what we need to develop a lot of things. And apart from that, we need to create a lot of infrastructure development also. The infrastructure development is very much required, because it's not about there is the one thing which I wanted to tell, and which I liked in Descopedia also. People misunderstood digital with the automation of one thing. Like for example, parents come to me and they said that okay, we are going to particular one XYZ school and they have a lot of infrastructure. It's not about infrastructure as an IT implementation or maybe hardware or software. It is all about end-to-end solution provided by the college or the schools. Like as Pooja was just mentioning, like okay, they are creating a group also, they are using Zoom also, they are using those kind of activities. So digitization means end-to-end solution. It's not only about making a automation of accounts or making attendance kind of automation. No, it is all about delivery of the program also. It is creating a content for the faculties also. It is getting a content from overseas also. It's getting an assessment also. It getting a validation also. There are a lot of things which we need to work out on those things. So this is a kind of a topic which we can discuss on an endless, because as Pooja was talking about, just mentioning that the NEP 2020, when we are talking about, we will see that how it is going to implement, because content development is again a big problem. Like for example, in K-12, we have a lot of IT companies or tech companies who is working with the content development, because the content development will be remain the same. For example, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 remains same. It was 2 plus 2 for my grandfather, for my father, for me, and for my 4 sons also. But Android technology will change after every 5 days. I'm sure Shubhendu will be agree with me, or every 5 days or every 10 days he had to upgrade the give some patches for the technologies and upgrade on the technology. Those are the lot of investment required from the for the college also, for the institutions also, for the technology company also, for the even the students also. Because mobile, we used to have 5 MB GB mobile, now 128 GB is also less because of the content. So
Yeah.
we need to have that kind of end-to-end solution.
Absolutely. We need to have end-to-end solution. So let's say so Bindu will come up with some end-to-end solutions. And I also agree that leadership cannot happen digitally. So we need to be present physically. So as we said, the technology is a two-edged sword. We have to know it. We sometimes have to forget that so that's how social emotional learning is also coming so much in existence today. Everybody has been talking about that. And we are having debates on social emotional intelligence versus technology. So I completely agree that it happens, digital team, your leadership team, your NEP, your hardware, software, everything is important, and everything you both of you have put it in like texted it so well in a small capsule form that it's very clear. So coming to our third panelist, Archana ji. So Archana, my question to you is more about now trainings. When we talk about teachers training, till date it was like I'm also a trainer, so we've been talking about the training happens with there's a set pattern for training. So what is your view about training from now onwards, that post COVID era, that uh, district professional development courses are being organized, or do you appreciate that teachers do their own courses and they come with specific needs? Or do you think that, imagine every teacher in the school is choosing dozens of professional development course. So how do you, in your opinion, the professional development PDP programs should be designed for not only staff, or I'll say for staff, for your class, for DDs, bhaiya, for students? What sort of mechanism, since you also have group of schools, what sort of mechanism will you develop with the EdTech team to have these courses? Or what is your opinion about it?
Yes, Apna. So, first of all, I would like to just say that I agree with Ravi when he says about the challenges. So, we have also managed to deliver curriculum to quite an extent, but now we feel the need to come into the physical space, because something like, let's say, we've taught the theory part of science with all the pedagogy of content to context and real life connections, everything. But we also use the virtual labs to explain the experiments and show them the reactions and everything. But, like they say that when you do, you don't forget, right? So, which is why the need to now come into a physical space is what we have designed, that we are going to call groups of 2 and 3 so that they can do experiments in school. Having said that, I, for one, would like to concentrate on the positives of this entire pandemic and the opportunities it has thrown open in terms of technology. I mean, when you talk about professional development, I don't think my teachers have ever, climbed so many levels of professional development in this rapid pace ever before. Even the ones who were, they used to somehow, the ones who were slightly older would say, ma'am, but technology comes difficult to us, we find it intimidating, etc. But they didn't have a choice, because then the job was on the line. You either did it, you got yourself, whether your son, your husband, we were there, but you had to come on the technology part of it. So I think wonderfully the teachers got trained. What we have been doing is something that I'd like to share is, since we have a group of schools, we thought we should leverage that. And so we had something called like highlights subject-wise. And every teacher was supposed to highlight which part of technology they used to enhance the online virtual learning space. And I thought it was a wonderful thing that we did. So we recorded the program, the sessions, and it became a great training module for us now when our new teachers join. Because every teacher is doing a little bit of research to see how they can leverage the technology space to enhance the virtual learning. And, so I took some of the names down to share with you. They're using the GeoGebra so wonderfully to teach math. They have something called the Desmos. They're using the Padlet. Amazing, the teachers, the way they use it, it's so interesting for the students that they're actually waiting for the next class rather than putting the video off. Their videos are always on. They find it engaging. They're able to ask questions. So I have felt that the entire technology has been a huge boon for schools in terms of teaching learning. Yes, like Ravi said, and I agree, and also the whole social skills, yeah, that all is a part of it. But at least we've been able to take advantage of the scenario currently. And I think it's been a great outcome for us. I'm very excited about what we've learned. I'm not very tech savvy, and I have learned so much. It's exciting for me too. And yes, I'm sure Subhendu would probably give us some solutions.
He's waiting. I think he's waiting.
Yeah, I am waiting too. I want to know, Subhendu, everything else, like Ravi said, automation of everything else, I think is already there. We want you to help us with curriculum implementation, digitizing that in a manner that will help us. We're yet struggling with that part, although there are a lot of stuff that we're doing.
Thank you so much, Archana. And I agree that it's a rung of the ladder of success, which as teacher, I call myself a teacher and I am a teacher, is was so difficult earlier. We used to do one rung and then now success ladder is like, and I remember with Rakhi when I did this Help Teachers Award, and Rakhi had asked me to judge certain things. And when this pandemic started, I pointed out, Rakhi, there were few teachers who were using Padlet in 2019 in the month of August. So there were some teachers who were advanced. And after this, Rakhi dug out those resumes and everything, and she said we will call them for session. And I think it's a very, very good learning platform now, because people like me who were totally disabled with technology are also wanting to learn that. Let me also learn what can happen. And I think we are, it's more of a boon than a bane, I feel, after post-pandemic. And we are so happy to connect. Maybe physical space is also required, which will eventually come. We are coming back to a normal world. But I think this was required for us to connect and to this global world
And
to
Sapna,
be one.
when in the past it was not possible for me to connect so many teachers across schools.
Yes.
I mean, the travel time,
Absolutely.
taking their
Yes.
day off. So this was amazing that, like 15 teachers discussing math and everything that each one has used, and
Absolutely.
the collaborative
Yeah.
learning was
So as
amazing.
Pooja ji also said that, and Ravi ji also said, so I think we are all we all have come with terms with COVID, and we are happy that whatever we have learned was a boon. So now comes the tech master Subhendu ji. Subhendu, like you have been hearing and listening to all of us, and you must be saying ki this is all ABCD they are talking. I know so much. I know till Z and beyond, Z plus plus. So with that, I would like to know that what is the IT support, and Archana has just asked for solution now only, that what is that solution with learning management system and post school hours? What is that system? Because people, everything, all the system is till the school hours. After that, then the teachers and people like me, we feel handicapped that where do we look for? What do we look for? So how can Descopedia or Subhendu in person can provide those solutions that for parents, for teachers, as well as for students? You're on mute. You're on mute, Subhendu. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sapna. I first of all want to thank all of you and the panelists over here, because I was very excited. At the same point of time, I wanted to hear the experienced leaders in the industry right now talking about the problem statements. Now, Descopedia came into inception very soon, identifying the need and the changes required to optimize the current ecosystem, as correctly mentioned by Ravi. When I look at these current problem statements, I see them as an opportunity for education industry, because I think this is the time, and I think it's an eye-opener for us, that we need to revamp and restructure by enabling the digital automation mechanisms, which will eventually bring forward much more reality, efficiency rate, eliminate waste, agility, and make learning in institutions more easy and simple. Now, I was going through one of the videos of Mr. Anirudh Gupta, which titled "Digitization of Education Does Not Mean Being a Smart School." Well, he's not here, but I can reiterate over here. It is absolutely correct. Digitization does not mean technology is going to rule humans. It is about taking control on the technology and make education more efficient, specifically in the current scenario. Also, at the same point of time, I saw a video of Archana ji as well, 2019 Art Plus talk show, wherein she spoke about a very visionary statement over here, which is classrooms without walls. It was an eye-opening for me as well, because when I saw that video, I think it is an excellent brain on table on how we can gamify the technology today, which can create more efficiency in learning. Coming to your question, Sapna, about IT support, I think it is not me alone. We have a team. Manish, the founder, Imran, Yogesh I have as my backbone for my IT advisory, and I have Alka, who is in the domain as a domain advisory. We all feel very strong that technology is now a center stage in the education for more schools, looking at the benefits of how technology can be used as they impart knowledge for better and collect more insightful information as they can cater to improve and on the teaching models. I also believe that while schools are moving to the digital ecosystem mechanisms, the entire good instruction classroom you want to create over here, it means there are more computers, more laptops, more passwords, more apps, more servers, more systems in place. I strongly feel that at this point of time, I'm not sure how the current ecosystem in the school is to create ITSM mechanisms, which is information technology system management in place. Like Ravi highlighted, the entire ecosystem, it's not only about giving a software or buying a software which is going to solve your problem. No. Today, you might take learning management system for a vendor. You might take a school ERP from a vendor. But is it the end? How about you create the entire information technology management mechanism in place? Because it is not only about that software which is going to cater the entire ecosystem, but end-to-end resolution from students, from parents, from teachers, staff, faculty members, everybody. And I think in the current scenario, for universities, colleges, schools, everybody, it is very important to have enabled ITSM mechanism, which is going to make sure that if you are budget constrained, because a lot of schools, the IT department is shoestring on budgets because they don't have enough people to cater to their IT needs. In the entire life cycle, I mean, taking care of the password issues or the entire ecosystem out there. I see a lot of benefits, and I want to highlight few benefits if I can over here. If you enable ITSM mechanism, which is IT support system mechanism in your institution, staff and students can interact with the service desk and can have access to all the announcements, information more in one place rather than going to different places. I'm not sure if today, as a teacher, when I face any kind of technical glitch, issue, password, app, whatever, I'm not sure if there is a mechanism in place that I'm only contacting a service desk inside the institution, or am I calling somewhere else? Is there a toll-free number, or is there a bot I'm interacting with? Is there a self-service portal which I'm interacting with? I'm not sure, but one benefit I see is it's going to be a single point of digitization interaction, which is going to make sure it caters to everything, which is self-service, knowledge base about the institution, the technical app, whatever software you have learning management system in place, you have school management system in place, you're using automation bots to make sure taking care of your XYZ needs, but the entire ecosystem can be taken care of by one spot only. And I of course understand if you have an ITSM mechanism as a center of excellence for your organization, for your institution, it can create more power to resolve your IT issues in simple interaction, in one-click interaction. So single sign-on apps, classroom emergency apps. I'm not sure if schools currently have a classroom emergency apps, because I'm also a father, and I see that when my child has a low connectivity or is not able to study properly, as a mother or a parent, I feel helpless. And I don't know how to contact and how to make sure that even if I'm using my own laptop or my own desktop, is the school taking care of the external equipments and assets? What about the cybersecurity? So these are big questions in the entire ITSM ecosystem, which is, I think it is very important for institutions, bigger institutions or smaller institutions, even if you have budget constraints. I think we can talk. Come to us, we can talk about it. Even if you're budget constrained, we understand there can be a mechanism which can be replacing the current mechanism and make the future, make the learning more easy, agility, and so on.
Sapna, you're on mute.
So the classroom mechanism app is something, emergency app is something which is very new to me. Even the Center for Excellence at one point, which you want to create, is something good. And the third takeaway from me was that you have solutions for, if budget is a constraint, you have a solution. And I also like that you said that IT is the main backbone of schools today. So IT mechanism should be very, very strong, and one should spend a lot. With that, Rakhi, would you like to take certain questions? Because I saw Rakhi noting down many things, and Rakhi, over to you then.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sapna. So I was just curiously trying to understand, how schools are incorporating various solutions in their own capacity, and how companies like Descopedia come. And my only station, which I want to ask Shubhendu is, do you think that this digitization that we are talking about can apply for rural schools? And if yes, then how? Because you spoke about how Descopedia can actually help budget constrained schools. So in that case, I would like to understand how is it that we can also help rural schools, because that's the space where resources and technology both are scarce.
Sure, Raghi, it's a very good question, but before getting into a solution mode, it is very imperative for an organization like us to go ahead and understand the need, because when pandemic came, when COVID-19 happened, a lot of schools they baffled, and institutions they had no clue how to take care of things. So a lot of institutions have already come up with a lot of solutions, and I agree that there is still a scope, and as I correctly mentioned in my video also, there's a huge potential we're looking at. When we interact with any institution which has a budget constraint, I want to understand what is the ecosystem they have currently created to actually eliminate waste. Because I want to understand from Six Sigma point of view is your institution currently eliminating waste? Because if as an organization like Descopedia can get into your system and eliminate waste, wherein we can create a budget for you from there itself. That's the whole psychology. So I don't mind if an institution comes to me and tells me, I am not really ready because I have budget constraints. However, I do want to implement something which is gonna make my school branding look good and more students and learning gets easy and so on and so forth. I want to have that interaction once to understand how is your current ecosystem eliminating the current waste, so that we can create a budget within your ecosystem and make sure you're able to fulfill your learning mechanisms, make it more easy, agility, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you for your inputs on that. And with this, I would like to move over to Ms. Pooja. And we're talking about how this pandemic has affected the entire social interaction among the learners and the SEL skills that we are currently focusing upon, because we all have come to realize that schools, institutes, colleges are actually places for learners to socialize, to connect, to grow, bond, and they serve as a community space. So in such a scenario, how is your school maintaining this communication between the parent and the teacher, or the management and the parents effectively? Have you all taken any measures, or has there been something that you all have incorporated, any new platform for that matter to incorporate the SEL skills, anything that your school as such has incorporated?
Right. Thank you so much, Rakhi. This question is also very interesting because a lot of challenges with the pandemic, a lot of challenges have also come up. So everybody has tried to manage these challenges. So we people also face it, because offline classes and online classes are absolutely different. When we started, that was a big challenge, how to reach to the students. Main problem we people faced in our school, reaching to each and every child, because somewhere connectivity was a problem, somewhere the gadget was a problem, somewhere like the parents, they had a gadget, but the parents, they had only one system with them. So time was not matching. So giving education to each and every child was a big challenge for all of us. Somehow we just managed, we changed the timings, we changed the separate timetable for junior classes separate, senior separate. Then the question was there, how to get the feedback from the parents. So getting the feedback, we just thought it's going to be best. First of all, we started with the Zoom platform, our teaching. Then we moved to MST because MST had a system for recording. So we wanted maybe several students, they were not in the range of connectivity. So after the school also, they can, many times we just know the students, they cannot understand when they are not sitting in front of teacher. So if they want to clear their doubt, the best way is there if they can see the content again and again. So best solution was given by MST. They gave us a complete recording system. So our students sitting at home, even when they were in the remote area, because many students, they come from various places, in the hostel, we have a big hostel where the strength of students are 500. So the reaching to 500 students was a big task. So this IT was a great help for all of us. We reached to most of the students. We gave them virtual books we provided them. Then we gave them a content through WhatsApp. We reached to them. We gave them a lot of content and questions and many things through WhatsApp, wherever it was possible, wherever the things were possible for the pre-recorded content, that was also provided to them. So these ways we people have just thought to give the best education during this time. Now, for the God grace, class 9 to class 12, the system is better. Students, they have started coming to school. So one-to-one teaching is the best way, what I feel. Virtual platform brings lots and lots of problem because over there, checking each and every child is a big task. If teacher is teaching, if the cameras are on, then maybe at times they disturb the classes. But teacher can't check each and every child. And if they switch off their cameras, then also another big trouble comes because teacher doesn't know whether whatever they're teaching, whether child is learning or not. So these problems were there, but the best solution was given by MST. And I hope DESCO PTA would also come up with the better ideas we may implement in the future. We may think about you because these are the challenges for educators, how to reach to the child and how to give them effective teaching. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank
Pooja.
you.
Because most of the schools have been shifting between synchronous and asynchronous learning, and that's how they have been moving forward in the initial days of the pandemic, because we all understood the problems that different families are facing in terms of gadgets, in terms of connectivity, and I think that has kind of helped us to sail forward little by little, and now of course things are improving, and hopefully we shall see all schools and colleges getting back to normal. We are talking about assessment. That
Right.
brings me to my next panelist, Mr. Ravi. Today, Times of India had an article about how students are not able to appear for exams because the schools, colleges, universities, especially for higher grades, they want them to be right in front of the camera, proctoring to happen. And in such a scenario, many of the students are not able to come online, probably because of connectivity issues, and also because for proctoring there are probably multiple gadgets required. And there are even softwares which are used by colleges and universities where we come to know even how many times the student is actually blinking. So in that case, when actually the student or the learner is put on the pedestal and is being closely monitored, do you think that affects the performance, or do you think that it kind of gives an excuse to the student or the learner to get away with this examination system? I mean, what are the issues you all are facing with respect to the assessment policies? Yeah.
So thanks, Raki. Again, it's some question which I'm struggling from last many years in my career also. Like, for example, as Archana was just talking about, like, okay, we were not using those kind of thought process, or there were some challenges out of that. And as Pooja was saying that, okay, the problem. I'm just sharing 2-3 experiences, and then I'll connect all the dots. Like, one of my relative is a home science teacher. And one day I called her and I was asking, okay, can we talk? She said that I'm taking class. I was just jokingly asked, home science class or online, how you are tasting the food. So that was kind of problem. Like for example, I'm just curious to learn guitar these days, and yes, we have a lot of online solution. I bought the solution also. It's like 500 rupees unlimited access. But the moment I put the guitar in my hand, I want my trainer to tell me this chord is tighten enough or not. How he's going to touch that. So as I totally 200% agree with Pooja that these kind of challenges is always there, and you can't replace the physical touch of those kind of things. But there is certain other things which comes with your question also, which you asked to Shubhendu also. What about the rural marketing and all these things? As I was talking about the ecosystem, one thing we need to understand, being as an Indian, I will say, we always leapfrog in any kind of thought process. Like for example, we were not using digital formats. By of this problem, we are using digital format a lot. Like in 2016, the demonetization told us how to use this digital payment this fintech
Wallets. Yeah.
wallet
Yeah.
system. So now everybody is using those kind of things. We were not, we were a lot of apprehension about the credit cards, but now we are everybody having a 5-6 credit card in their pockets and purses. And believe me, when we started a computer, I still remember in 1994, first laptop in Haryana was at my home. First laptop I'm saying, and Shubhendu will be surprised to know that I have given 1 lakh rupees of custom duty on that system, and the configuration was 51 MB hard disk, 8 MB RAM. So you can understand. And now what we have a lot of technology based on in our mobile itself. So we,
Right.
as an Indian, we always leapfrog. Like we take time to start, but once we start, we jump ahead across like we are in the number one position and across the world also. Like for example, Subhendu was just talking about the security. The kind of security we have in the payment gateways or maybe credit cards in India, nobody in globe they have. In US, you can swap the credit card of 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, like anything. But in India, you have to go over a lot of security protocols and all these things. They will call you whether you have done this call or transaction or not. So that is the point which I was talking about. So we have this kind of tendency, and now we face this pandemic, so it forces us to go for these kind of thought process. I was talking to a lot of companies earlier for management development programs, and they used to ask that, Ravi, we want to expand this training program, but we don't want to invest. And as Subhendu is thought process, I also ask them, tell me your budget, and then I'll give you the solution on those things. But that is based on the company, and I propose them digital solution, and I'm just giving. I'll not name that company, but believe me, in 3 year continuous, the training headcount, the headcounts for the training, which we have increased. Initial first year in 2018, 500, 2019 we have done 1200, and in post pandemic we have touched 2100 in a one organization. We have done this online training mode, and they understood on those things, and they were okay with that. So these all ecosystem is very much required. Definitely, we need to require bandwidth. We require a lot of solution. There is a challenges for parents also. Puja must be facing a lot of problem with the parents because they don't have the infrastructure, or maybe they are living in a remote area, or maybe they don't have the that kind of, maybe they don't have the paying capacity also, like for the getting so much of gadgets, all those kind of things. So that is it. Now it comes to the assessment. Yeah, we need a proper solution for that. We need a proper infrastructure of that. One thing, assessment is you all are apart from me and Shubhendu, I think we both are odd man out, but all you are from the academic. So students are always little skeptic about the assessment. They don't want to go there. So there are 20% glitches is by the students, like they create problem by unnecessary, like Pooja just mentioned, they switch off the camera, I'm facing problem and all these kind of things. Yes, 20% problem is from the infrastructure, the bandwidth is not there. I am running 4G, but sometimes 4G is behaving like 2G. Now we are thinking about 5G, and there is a lot of debate if 5G should be implemented tomorrow, next year, or in 2014. I don't know. Frankly speaking, post pandemic, I don't face any kind of problem at my home Although I'm in a metro city, the kind of droppage I used to get, now I'm not getting. 3 years back, we used to pay 2,000 rupees per month for telephone expenses. Now we hardly pay more than 400 rupees. So this entire ecosystem is, again, I'm coming on that is required. Now I'm coming on your point, which is assessment. There are a lot of assessment solution is there, but the concern is the entire integration of the thought process is required. Like, for example, the bandwidth, the infrastructure. Being as a IMA, we were forced to do one examination, which we do assessment for the government department. We have to postpone that for next year because we were supposed to get 30,000 candidate in Delhi, and and even state government, they said that we cannot afford 30,000 people in Delhi itself because of the logistic issues and all these things, because that will be a lot of gathering. So we need to work out on those things. So
Yeah, there are
solution,
exams being postponed because of that.
yeah, that is a state government entrance test kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
is
the
again
entrance test, even the IIT entrance test got postponed. Yeah.
So assessment is there. The infrastructure is required because, for example, Delhi University, or maybe I'll call you. I just recall a incident of JNU. JNU is one of the topmost university in India and across the globe. I don't want to talk about the controversies and all these things. Still, it is one of the reputed institution. When they launched the law exam, it got failed because of the server capacities and all these things. So that kind of thought process is required. Solution is always there. Like, for example, Sapna just talked about blackboard or whiteboard, and Raki, you and me discussing this solution from last 3 years, that okay, these kind of solution is available, which US is using from last 10 years. We are not using that. So solution is there. We have to create a kind of ecosystem. We have to create with the infrastructure. Assessment is available, but yes, there are certain assessment which we need to understand how we are going to do that. Like, for example, eye movement and all these things. Sometime execution is not a problem, as Pooja was saying, that if class is started, then there is no problem. But the operational part is creating a lot of burden these days to the faculties, like camera is off on or not, somebody is there or not. I just done a competition, and believe me, out of that 1.5 hour competition, 45 minutes is just wasted just to onboard the people. Tell them, okay, please sit properly, focus the camera, we want to check and all these things. IMA just launched first exam in India, that is MAT exam, which we are doing right now. That is IBT, internet-based testing, and we do a lot of evaluation on those things. So that is already there, and the thing is that we are not in a proper shape of infrastructure, and as well as in the training part also, because I think Sapna, sorry, Archana and
That's very
Pooja,
pertinent,
both,
the training
yeah,
part.
Archana and training part. Archana and Pooja both will be agree. The training part for the faculties on the technology, something, the solution, that is always a challenge, because at the same time they have to work on the curriculum part. They have to follow the guideline of the CBSE or ICSE or AICT or UGC. So there are a lot of things which we have a problem. But yes, solutions are there. Shubhendu is there, one of the renowned people who can give us a
Solution
solution.
provider.
Yeah, but the problem is again the overall thought process. I don't know tomorrow. Sorry, Pooja, I'm just giving a joking part. Maybe tomorrow near to Pooja school or Archana school, somebody, government contractor may down this internet, and they have the solution, but the bandwidth is not there because of the local problems. So it can happen anything in that case.
So
Solution
you
is
raised
there.
very important points. One being solution is there, and the other being the training of the staff. And with this, I would like to ask Ms. Archana, heading so many schools, how has been your experience with respect to embracing technology, and on one side embracing technology, and on the other side training staff and getting them ready to embrace technology. So how did how was the experience with respect to onboarding technology and creating that readiness among the staff members? Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry. To begin with, technology today is an integral part already in most schools. We are using it a lot. I mean, we've had interactive boards digital smart boards since I think 2006 onwards in all our schools. All the teachers are expected to use, a lot of PPTs, a lot of videos, even make videos themselves. We even make them record their lectures for students who are absent, so we can send it to them. The digital boards provide that solution to us. So, in a sense, most of the teachers, when they come on board, are expected to be conversant with the technology, the amount of technology that they need to use in classrooms, at least. Very few who are really, really raw. But, right at the time that we take them on, we ask them that you will have to be, because, we even have the voting for the student council today, which is through, technology. We don't do it physically anymore. So everything is pretty much there in school. But yes, the current challenge was another level altogether, and it came on, I think, rather suddenly. The challenge was more so felt because it was so sudden. One fine day, schools were ordered to be shut. So that onboarding took us a while because, literally we didn't. You're on mute, Rakhi.
Yeah, I was just wondering that do you think that staff readiness plays a huge role in this?
Yes, I am actually very thankful to the staff who really supported us in terms of understanding that there is no way out and they have to. We provided a lot of support in terms of training. So we have, the digital solution providers who we have supported us a lot also. They actually quickly got the assessments online. They helped us with worksheets. How do they, there are small things of how will they submit the worksheet? How will they correct the worksheets? How will they, like they were talking about, putting the video off and all. So we literally, there was a problem and then we found a solution. There was a problem and we found a solution. So it actually, I think we all learned along the way together. And I think, the outcome has been huge learning for everyone. And I think we've become very good at problem solving, which is one of the key 21st century skills. And we've all kind of learned it rather quickly.
Yeah, that's so true. We all took it one step at a time. And, as you rightly said, there was a problem and then there was a solution. So this brings me to my last question to Shubhendu. If we all are aware of the problems and we all are also aware of the solutions that are possible, according to you, what do you think are basically the reservations for schools to go for digitization, or I would say what stops a school from embracing technology? What has been your experience?
Sure, Rakhi, I think as Ravi mentioned, and I want to reiterate on that, it's a thought process, which is very important, right? And also he mentioned that there are solutions. Of course, there are, world is full of solutions. If there's a problem, there's a solution. And I think pandemic has taught us a lot to find solutions when you're in a problem. So the thought process. Now, I just saw a comment on Facebook: technology cannot replace teacher. That's a thought process. You're not changing the role. Technology is not replacing teacher. Technology is enabling you to teach well. The thought process has to see. You cannot put a gun on an institution and say, you have to change the thought process today. So you cannot do that, right? But what institutions should emerge and realize right now the importance, the value. If you want to make your education system easy, simple, and make sure your teachers and your staff, your faculty is synchronized and efficient enough, you have to enable the mechanisms, digitize, enable technology to make the entire ecosystem work well. I've heard and I have interacted with few institutions recently. They want to do well, but they don't want to change. The change management thought process is something which is very crucial, and that's why we as Descopedia, we want to penetrate by telling institutions, we are not changing the user behavior. Your internal, external user behavior remains the same. What we are adding is a value by enabling technology. A simple example I can give you, as I already mentioned, is the classroom emergency app. As Ravi said, it took 45 minutes to streamline and make sure people are. How are you doing that? What is the automation? And if you think, yes, there are a lot of solutions again to make sure everything is channelized properly and everything is streamlined. And that's where I think if we not changing the thought process, making institution better, making learning easy, I think it's going to be a complete failure. It does not matter how much fund you're putting in institution, it will be a failure.
Absolutely. So,
Yep. So it's
I
going to
actually,
be.
can I
Yeah,
ask
sure.
a question to Shubhendu,
Sure.
please?
Sure.
Okay, so I just want to know, are schools resisting this integration of technology? Because according to me, I think everyone's embracing it with open arms, both the parents and the teachers.
Archana,
Yes. So, Archana, so there are institutions, as I said, they want solutions, but because they don't want to change or they have budget constraints and they don't want to open up telling their problems, because a lot of institutions, they don't really feel comfortable telling what is the problem inside because they think that it might, go elsewhere. So institutions needs to come to a vendor like us, anybody, and tell their problems. Be open, okay? Because we come as consultants to you, and we want to ensure that we can give you, or we can bridge that gap between the problem and solution for you. So that's where the ecosystem is gonna get built. That's where the institution is gonna go high, get the attention, parent services, student services. I think there is a huge lag. I'm not sure about the big institutions, but I see there are institutions, they're not catering well to parents and students properly. The ecosystem there is no feedback mechanism. Pooja mentioned about the feedback mechanism. It's a brilliant idea. Weekly, about telehealth, how is your student actually, sitting in front of the computer? What is happening, right? If we can automate those systems to make sure a consecutive feedback is coming to institutions, which will help institutions to reconsider and reevaluate and improve on the area of opportunities for them. So that mechanism is still pending. I think institutions have done a lot. Because they were baffled, they jumped into solutions. They got LMS, ERP, automate this, courses. But look about, think about 10 years, think about 5 years from now, you enabling, softwares, mechanisms, technology, the user experience, the entire journey, how it's going to look like tomorrow. I'm not sure if institutions have really thought through, prepared well before implementing a particular solution, because there is more towards, after the solution you get, there is more, user journey is there. So that's in a nutshell.
I would also
biggest
say,
one was assessments. I think assessments, exams is where the challenge is.
and also, Archana, it is, we are just talking about assessment and all, but I was reading this World Economic Forum report, which says that very soon you will be just, technology will also teach us not only artificial intelligence, quantum computing, blockchain, facial recognition. So very soon, I think within a year, we will be, you as school management system will be dealing with these kind of technology also. Am I right, Subhendu? Like, that's not far away.
Absolutely, and correctly, online exams, and that's something which we already have solutions in place. And we came up with Inception, idea that, because I have catered to US education for a very long span, and I understand when I compare. So there is no comparison, of course. It's again a thought process which has to, come in picture. But when I see there is there are a lot of integrations already there on systems, right, which needs to get enabled, and we came with a thought that we will provide solutions, but we'll integrate multiple aspects to it, because just buying a software is not going to solve it. Today, if I buy a school management software, is my school management software giving online exam enablement? Is it integrated with LMS? How am I making sure the entire school management software is catering to the other aspects of education system as well? That's the point of view we came up with when we were starting the entire ecosystem over here.
Absolutely.
I just want to add on here, and I think if I'm wrong, then Archana and Pooja, you need to correct me and you need to enlighten me also. And because Raki and Sapna both are more on our educator side, and you are part of the management part also, and which I want, because as Shubhendu was talking about the technology, and as I was saying that okay, technology is always there, solution is always there, integration is required, ecosystem is required. I started smart classes first in North India, for example, and it was a very difficult task for me to convince to the school to start the smart classes. I'm talking about 1999 and 2006-7. There was just a bombardment of smart classes everywhere, and you both are educator, all of you are educator. You know that okay, yes, there is a benefit of these smart classes because you can show them. Like for example, I learned heart or body structure on the blackboard with the white, and doesn't matter the teacher is good in drawing or not. So we know that how amoeba works. We need to make 5 graphs, and then we how amoeba dejoint, and it became another species and something like this. But is a question for it is a question also for, like Raki was asking about the training the faculties. I think we need to train, educate more on the parent side also, because that is another challenge. Because the moment you got a new solution, a new thought process, first resistance is not from the student side, because student is a curious mind state right now. He is ready to learn, or she is ready to learn all those things. But we found a lot of restriction from the parent side, because obviously there is an investment from the school side. For example, smart class, I'm sure Pooja is aware of, and you both are aware that what kind of investment was required in the initial stage when the hardware was so
Absolutely.
costly.
So
So
expensive.
it was required there. And now a smart class is something which is everywhere. It is available. It is based on the cloud based, and the technology is based on the lease based system, where we need not to invest on the junk, like a bulk part of the money. We can pay on the per usage basis. But it is, I think it's an overall ecosystem where, again, I am coming on. In this ecosystem, I am including today onwards the parents part also, because how it is going to learn all those things. Parents, like for example, I'm sure that before pandemic, if you could ask them do any kind of online training, they will say, why online? Why we need to invest on the laptop or smartphone or something like this? So this pandemic give a benefit, because I'm just giving an one last point why I'm saying it is beneficial. Or also, I wanted to join Harvard school, and Harvard was not having the online classes earlier. They used to have, but very costly.
Now they
Now
have.
it is, yeah, now it is available. Even I am Ahmedabad. They used to have the lot of session. All the IIMs, all the institutions, they have started online classes. Even like we are able to see a lot of edtech companies on the media, where they are showing a lot of courses, which we were thinking to join that, but we used to face a lot of problem. Frankly speaking, now I see advantage in the future. Like I'm just giving you one of my peace of mind. Like for example, from last 3 years, this is a question for all the educators. Why don't have the modular courses? Like for last 3 years, I'm looking for a economics course for myself. Only economics, nothing else, and a modular course. I'm going to the colleges and this thing. We have the degree program. I don't want to go for 3 year degree program. I already established in my life. But yes, I want to learn economics, but I don't have the modular program. And by this online education and the tech ed education, I think educator get this leverage to give this kind of program for my kind of working profession also. I can join +1 +2 class of Pooja and your school, and I can join that session, but it should be in a modular rather than in a 1 year classroom session. That's what we are looking, and that is the advantage and the benefits by the technology Shubhendu can give on that. But yes, we need to have the entire mindset. So the ecosystem by this panel, I would like to thanks to all of you that I included one more thing, that is parental part now rather than an ecosystem three part. There is another fourth part, that is the parent.
Very good point about the modular courses.
Very well said, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing such wonderful inputs, and to all our panelists. And as it is always said that a crisis is required, it's an opportunity to bring about a change. And we all have seen how this pandemic has changed the entire scenario of education and is actually reshaping the structure of education for the better. So we're looking forward to better times ahead as we've been, as we've been embracing technology, and we've also been maneuvering around our problems and finding solutions step by step. And we're thankful to companies like Descopedia who come and help schools, institutions, and other private education institutions to solve their problems, get better at get better at providing solutions to students, to parents, and kind of take that leap that is required in the coming years. And with this, we would like to end our today's webinar. But before that, I think I would like to invite Ms. Alka and Mr. Yogesh, who are a part of the entire Descopedia team. And we'd just like them to say hello to everybody.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alka. Thank you, Yogesh, for joining us. And I know you were patiently listening to all of us and making notes. And thank you for your patience. Thank you for all that you all are doing. And we look forward to hearing more from your entire team as to how we can together provide solutions to schools.
Sure.
And I'm sure, Aki, with this, Subhendu must already be ready with all the facial expression technology and recognition of face. And before we could think, he will be putting up the solutions in front of all the leaders and educators. So I thank all of you to join us, and I hope we had many takeaways, and I'm sure with that all of us had some takeaway or the other.
Absolutely.
And keep us updating, Subhendu, with whatever you're doing. And as Raviji said, we are the just leapfrog method. So you just teach us, and you see, we will leave your USA behind very soon.
Sapna, just I want to add on one last thing. The entire data which is available for this AI and big data and facial recognition or AR, VR, that is just developed in last 4 years only. That is the stats.
Absolutely.
So, and you're absolutely right. You are saying 1 year. I think Subhendu and his team can give us a solution in next 6 months. If we all, educators, students, parents, everybody is giving the data to them.
Well, sure. Augmented reality actually came first in 1990s. Unfortunately, nobody could really take it up. But in last 4 years, augmented reality and virtual reality has come at a very rapid pace, making a change also in education. So we also want to make sure that we interact with all of you at some point of time and understand how your institutions is currently functioning on these enablements. And me and Yogesh will look forward to interact and speak and make a relationship better from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Archana.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subhendu.
Thanks for joining. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.